In this homework, I want you to evaluate and analyze and understand and interpret what Solver is providing in terms of seasonality analysis that you can use in a forecast. So in this data that I have here, this is ERP sim data from the logistics game that has a lot of teams and over time, quarters and days. And I inserted a pivot chart instead of using the subtotals. And in the pivot chart, I summed up the units sold on a day for all time. So this is the units sold on a day over all time. And this is for all products. And this is just in the north region and just in the south and just in the west. And this is butter in the west, for example. And what I'm interested in you doing is evaluating some of these possibilities in terms of what data does it provide. So let's look at butter in the west. And I'm trying to determine if there's some sort of seasonality associated with butter in the west. I'm going to choose butter in the south. Butter in the west, I notice it's missing one of the days, and I'd like to have all 10 days. So there's butter in the south. So I'm going to take this data, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to go over to the forecast tab, I'm going to paste it here, and all these will be updated and all the calculations are done for you. This is a weighted average forecast of the 8th time period based on the previous 7 using these weights. This is a 4-day weighted average using these weights. This is a save option for Solver that lets you load different Solver models. So here's the 7-day Solver setup, here's the 4-day Solver setup. So if I go to data and Solver, this model I'll load. I'm going to load the 7-day startup or setup. So you have to select all 6 cells, and then you do load and you do replace. And now I can check D12. Yes, I want to minimize this mean absolute deviation by changing those 7 cells subject to C15 through 21. That is, these cells have to be less than 1 and the total has to equal 1. And I'll choose this GRG nonlinear. You might try the evolutionary. If you do the evolutionary and you get tired of waiting for it, hit the escape key and then stop. You'll see a dialog box because the evolutionary can take a long time. So there is the optimal solution that that Excel found using the GRG solver. I think just for interest's sake, I'm going to choose a different method, this evolutionary, and just see if it finds something that's a little bit better. And it's hard to see, but down here I can see that it's already found a 198. It's kind of hard to read with that green. And there's a 191, I think. So it's finding better solutions than the other solver approach. So I'm going to hit escape. I hit escape, and that stops the solver. And then I'm going to do stop, and then I'll just do OK. So there's the weights that Excel finds for the seasonality adjustments. And basically it's saying, gosh, it looks like whatever happened the last time period is dramatically affecting what happens or is involved with the forecast for the next one. So let's go to Solver, and I'm going to load the 5-day or 4-day average, weighted average, replace and double check. Yes, I'm going to set H12 to min by changing those cells, and I'll do that. And this approach is a lot faster. So I think I'll just see, I'm going to try a different technique and see if it can find something better than that. But you can see it finds different weights, slightly different weights. And I'm asking you to kind of interpret what this means when you're using these two different weighted averages. So all that data is associated with butter in the South. And so you might want to copy this information. So I could copy and paste values. I want to paste the values. And then you could say this is butter in the South. Or something like that. And you could do the same thing with this. This is the same information, but it just appears graphically. So I could copy and paste that somewhere appropriate, but paste a picture of it, otherwise it's going to change. And so this is butter in the South. And what I'm asking you to do is try some other options here and just see if the analysis that Solver provides is helpful. Next week.